Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I am here with Dr. Alicia. And it's a weird hour at night. If you're catching this live, it's literally 4:41 in the morning. But how you doing, baby?
I'm good. Oh, I didn't even realize the time. Gee
Yeah,
whiz.
yeah. It's late. We took a nap. We laid down to go to sleep at 10, and we woke up at 1:30, and we've been up just watching Star Trek and all kinds of other stuff. Um, yeah, that's what we were doing, right? So anyway, we were thinking about Cornel West, and when something's on my brain, I'd like to kind of share it right away. And did anybody give me a yes or no if you heard anything about Cornel West leaving Harvard University? Give me a yes or no if you heard about that. I'll give you an update on it. So Cornel West was going through this back and forth with Harvard University, and they were having a fight over his tenure. Apparently, for whatever reason, Harvard and the powers that be at that institution decided that one of the greatest black scholars in the history of the world is not worthy of tenure. He's not even worthy of the recognition of a mediocre white guy. And so so as a result, Cornel West is leaving Harvard to go back to Union Theological Seminary. Did you hear about that, babe?
Yeah, you told me about it. So wait, so actually Harvard did not fire him. He left Harvard. Like they
Yeah.
were still going to give him a position, right? In the
Yeah.
fall.
They had a
Hmm.
position for it. It was like I don't know if it was professor of practice or something like that.
Okay.
I don't remember what they called it, but something like that.
Okay. All right. And so he didn't like the disrespect, and so he publicly talked about it, and then now he's going to where? Union
Union Theological Seminary in New York.
in New York. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, Union.
Never heard of them before.
Yeah, well, Union. I'm sure they're happy to have Cornell, and
Okay. Uh-huh.
he's a nice guy, and I like Cornel West. Just having the chance to get to know him as a friend. He's a gracious guy. He's a very good person. You know,
Okay.
and I remember back years ago, you and I went to one of his lectures and got a chance to hear him. Remember
I love it. And he was like, "How you doing, my sister?" Remember he
that?
said that, and he was just really he had a lot of energy back then.
Yeah, it was back when you were at
Yeah,
University of Chicago.
yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I want to share this. I'll share this theory with you about the
Okay.
Cornel West thing and why it kind of bothers me. It
Hmm.
really bothers me, but not for the reasons that it might bother some other people. Um, you know, I on my Instagram. My Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins, by the way. Someone actually said that they they felt that you need to have people like Cornel West at places like Harvard to represent black people and things like that. And I hear that, I get all that, but I was sitting there trying to think about if you really think about this thing called white supremacy.
Hmm.
I mean, it's clear it's racism, right? Racism is at play here, not because they're deliberately saying we don't want you here because of the color of your skin. It's because if black people were voting to give tenure to Cornel West, he would get it. It would be a landslide,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? But because white people are voting,
Hmm.
certain white people,
Hmm.
it becomes a questionable decision, right? That's white supremacy. It's not white supremacy is not when white people choose to be racist. It's when white people get to make all the damn rules, right? It's
Hmm.
when they get to make the decision. So here's the thing that got me, right? So somebody said, "Oh well, Cornel West needs to be at Harvard because of," and I was like, "Well, why is he begging?" Like, it doesn't, and I'm not saying he's begging. I'm not putting it on him, but
Hmm.
I'm like, what's the big deal? Like, would he be having this conversation with a black university? Like
Hmm.
would he would why are the leading black scholars clamoring to get next to racist white people? Why are you rewarding racism?
Hmm.
Like you're
Hmm.
literally rewarding them. Like what incentive do they have to treat black people more equitably if all we're going to do is beg harder every time they treat us badly?
Mm. Yeah, because it doesn't seem like Harvard is shaking in their boots. Like it doesn't seem like they're really worried
It's almost
what's
like
going to
they're it's
happen.
almost like they're laughing. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
imagine if there was a neighbor and you disrespected that neighbor, you
Hmm.
called their kids fat, and you made fun of them, and you said terrible things about them, and but for some reason that neighbor was still determined to make you their friend, and they were like, okay, I'll bring them a birthday cake. And then you're like,
Yeah.
F you and your birthday cake. I'm a pee on your birthday cake.
And I bet they're just kind of, you're just kind of curious, like, why are they trying to prove to me that they're worthy of my little appraise, my approval? Why
Right,
are
right,
they so worried about it? Like, I don't like you. Go away. It's
right,
like,
right. So the big
stop talking about it.
right. So think about this, right? The big reward for them
Yeah.
is that they get to be friends with a person who has no respect for them at all.
Oh.
That's literally how weird it looks.
And the question is not only that, but the question is like, why are you trying to be friends with someone who don't like you?
Right.
They don't like you.
You know what
There's
makes
lots of people who do. Let me like I get like student reviews in my classes, and I'll get like 30. She's a great professor. She's so wonderful. It'll be that one student that was like, such a waste of time. I hate this class. And I don't even think about the 30 students that loved me. You like really ruminate on that one student that didn't like you. So
yeah.
sometimes then I have to be like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, it's it's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's I would be confused. Like
Yeah.
if I disrespected somebody as much as they disrespect black people, and that person was
Mm-hmm.
still working to try to be my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
literally said, I do not feel like a worthy human being unless my enemy
Mm-hmm.
decides that I'm worthy.
So it's like your self-esteem.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
a
self-esteem
self-esteem
issue.
issue. It's just like, move on. There are tons of people who are gonna like what you have to offer. But
Yeah.
it's almost like a woman who's pursuing a man, and the man's like, I got a girl.
Hmm.
I got somebody already. Like, you know,
And then
it's futile. Your
oh,
little attempts are futile.
and
So you
even
need to go away.
even worse, the man is like, I'll take the sex, but I
I
don't
don't
want to
want
see you
you.
after the sex is over. Like,
Yeah.
I want
I'm gonna
nothing to
use
do with
you.
you. I don't like you. You're fat. You're ugly. You stink,
Stupid.
and you're stupid. But she's like, but why don't you love me? I need you to love me for me to feel worthy.
It's like,
You would send a
no.
woman like that to therapy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's a mental illness.
It is a mental
Black
illness.
people have a mental illness.
Well, it's the racism and white supremacy. When you're in that environment, it gives you a mental health issue. It gives you a mental illness. What are some
Hmm.
comments in the are you looking at the comments?
There's a spammer in here um who's like making 1,000 comments, so I have to
Oh,
like,
so it's not a real
yeah, I have
comment.
to block it. But
Okay.
do you guys get what we're saying? Like it's not even.
Move on to a man that loves you.
There you
You're
go.
worthy of love. That's the thing. It's like you're worthy of love and move on to someone who loves you.
Yeah,
Stop wasting your time chasing after some man that don't love you.
there you go, and that's what it
Move
is.
on. He loves somebody else.
Well, let me explain also where this actually explains why white supremacy maintains its power.
Mm-hmm.
White supremacy maintains its power because we are white supremacists. White supremacy is this idea that being around white people makes you better, that white institutions are better than black institutions, that white ways of thinking are better than black ways of thinking, that getting approval from whites means so much more than getting approval from blacks. That and so
Mm-hmm.
when we're using whiteness as a constant measuring stick of our success, we are inherently becoming white supremacists. You see, the
Mm-hmm.
thing about,
Mm-hmm.
my PhD's in finance, your PhD's in social work. One thing about finance that we understand very clearly is that an asset's value goes up or down based on demand for that asset.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think why do you think Bitcoin's worth $50,000 a coin? It's because the
Mm-hmm.
demand for Bitcoin grew. As the
Mm-hmm.
demand grew, the price went up. But if people stopped demanding Bitcoin, then the price would plummet. It would go to zero.
Okay.
So the reason white supremacy has so much power
Mm-hmm.
and so much value is because we demand it. We demand opportunities to be next to white people. We want to work for their businesses. We want to go to their schools. We want to teach at their universities. And all the while that you're giving your best and brightest and sending your best and brightest to go
Mm-hmm.
beg white people for opportunities, you are losing as a community because your best and your brightest are not even in your own community doing work for black people.
Yeah, it's a brain drain. And in social work, we believe in person and environment. So it's sometimes you have to tease some of that out when you meet with
Mm.
clients. You have to
Hmm.
say sometimes it's you. Sometimes you're the problem, but sometimes it's the environment that you're in. Is it a place where
Mm.
it is validating to you, or is it a place that is really destructive? And so sometimes just changing a person's environment can change exactly how they see themselves. So I'm certain that Cornel West, now that he has an offer at Union Theology in New York.
Union Theological Seminary. Yeah.
Okay, Union Theological Seminary. He's in a better environment, one that probably nurtures him, and he probably feels good about himself now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Thomas Papa is asking, do you think Meghan Markle's interview is an example of that?
Okay, tell me about the interview because I have been so busy working, I haven't had a chance to.
Look at you actually working.
I'm working hard.
Instead of gossiping about the lives of other people.
I haven't even been able to tune into that.
Well,
yet.
Meghan Markle did an interview where her and Prince Harry basically went to Oprah and complained that the royal family
is racist,
that they treated her badly. Yeah, that she claimed that they were concerned that their son's skin would be too dark, or that she also said they made me feel suicidal.
Okay, so that's the thing. So it's like being mad at a snake for being a snake. Being mad at a snake for biting you. Like that's what snakes do. Like I bite.
You thought the snake was like a puppy?
Did you think the snake was gonna like want to snuggle up with you and get all cozy with you? It is what it is. Like she married this man with red hair. You know, that's the whitest of the white people I think I've ever seen. Ones with red hair. And, you know, as much as she probably is genuinely in love with this man and fell for him, like she's got a black mama. Her black mama probably told her what was going on.
Well, remember her mama married a white man too.
Oh, you're serious? Really?
Yeah, like that's a family tradition apparently.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and her ex-husband was a white guy.
Who's ex-husband?
Meghan Markle.
Oh, that's right. Meghan Markle was married before?
I think so. Was Meghan Markle married before? I think that she was.
Oh my goodness.
Let us know in the chat if she...
You know, I'm not a royalist. You know what I mean? I didn't really get all fuzzy inside when they got married.
Right.
You know, I got all fuzzy inside when I saw Coming to America when those two got married.
Yeah,
when the bastard son and his woman got married, that got me all fuzzy inside. You know, I love weddings.
Yeah, I know you do. Well, you know, I think that it's kind of like why doesn't black love inspire us as much as interracial love? Like, you know, like why are Oprah and all these other people's all into this whole royal wedding and Meghan Markle?
I was never into it.
I guess it must just be about the money and the power. Like, right? Like, you know, when you get totally obsessed with the money and the power and don't think about anything else, then you're gonna end up becoming a white supremacist because white people have the money and the power.
I'm gonna tell you, there's one show right now I am so into, and that is Star Trek Discovery. You got this black woman and this black man going through space and time together, and they love each other. And I am I'm so into it, by the way.
Yeah.
And I really, really loved Coming to America. So many people did not like that movie.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was, to me, Coming to America 2, the second one, it was better than, dare I say it, the Black Panther.
I thought it served its purpose. I feel like Eddie handled it. I mean, they didn't mess it up. With a sequel like that, where your money's already in the bank, their goal is just not to mess it up. And they didn't mess it up.
You can't mess up it can be the stupidest storyline in the world. The imagery is what is everlasting. So you can't mess up, you know, intelligent, well, for the most part, intelligent, beautiful black people coming together and building together. I mean, that's never a mistake. We need to have like 12 movies like this every month. Once a month out of the year, we need to have movies where we see beautiful black people coming together.
Well, we could do that.
And not coming together to help white people, which is what Black Panther did.
That is so true.
I did not like that about
what we need to do really is we have to really have a different mindset about kind of walking away from needing white approval to feel like we've accomplished anything. You know, like white people make, you know, like black movies. Yeah. You know, a lot of the stuff that we see in media that involves black people is created by other people.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't want to tell everybody, and this is just my stance. I don't want to tell everybody, stop working for white people. stop working in white institutions. That's not what I ever want to say to someone. I want to say to someone, stop depending on them to build your self-esteem. You know what I mean? I go into white institutions, that I collaborate with, that I work with, but I'm coming at it and I'm not begging. It's just like, Lord, if I go up for a promotion or something, I put it all in there. It's all in my packet, and it could be thumbs up or thumbs down. My self-esteem is not going to be tied to that.
I think that's a good start for sure.
That's the biggest thing. So I'm not saying if you work for a white company or work for a white institution, quit it and move away. Like, I don't really necessarily have that sort of stance. I'm just like, stop trying to prove to people. Just let the work speak for itself. That's what I say.
Yeah, I don't doubt what you're saying. I agree with you.
And don't let whether you have a bad day or a good day rest on what some white people think about you.
Yeah. Well, remember with white supremacy, like there is no white supremacy in our house because we run our house. There is no white supremacy in my business because I'm the boss, and I think that this idea that white supremacy is this sort of overwhelming, all-encompassing thing that we can't get away from. I think that we might want to rethink that and really consider our role in buying into white supremacy. Like you were saying, you don't actually have to go work for that white man. You just,
but if you do, and it's not saying turn your back, but if you do, just see it for what it is. It's a job, it's a position. I'm getting something out of it. My kids get to go to college for free. I'm not giving that up.
Well, I'm not going to say that it's bad. I'm going to say that what's bad though is when it gets bad. Meaning, the question is when it hits the fan, when the stuff hits the fan, and they start disrespecting you. Do you have options? And if you have no other options other than begging, then you put yourself in the corner. Also, we got to remember, Black people have all that we need. We have all the scholars we need, all the experts that we need in every area to do whatever we want, to build whatever institution we want. But unfortunately, they're building institutions for white people. And then they build these institutions. We come in as little slaves, maybe high-paid slaves, and we build these institutions, and they run them, they control them, they make all the decisions, and those institutions serve to the benefit of their community. And then all the while, your community's falling apart. Your community's falling apart because your best and brightest are leaving. The Chinese went through a moment like that, where the Chinese, had all these they were educating all these amazing scientists. They were all going to American universities, and then they would go work for American companies. And China flipped that. China said, if you're not bringing your expertise back to China, then you don't care. You don't exist to us. You're not a good citizen if you take all your brilliance and you're giving it to the Americans. We need it here in China. Bring your ass back home. And that's what they did. And that's why China is so powerful right now.
Okay.
But it's like air condition. You can't keep the room cool if you keep the windows open and letting all the air out.
But at the same time, like, China cannot operate in its own little bubble, although it's trying to. You still depend on other nations, and you come together as an equal. China, they're not trying to impress us. They're saying, okay, this is what I need. You have what I need. Let's work on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I have what you need. Let's come up with a deal, trade deal.
Yeah. Well, Michael Terry says, I don't understand why Cornel West would teach at a majority white school instead of teaching at a HBCU.
Yeah. So there are a lot of theological departments or religious departments that would have loved to have taken him.
Well, but
we don't know. Like, did Cornel West speak about that? Has anyone ever asked him that question? Has anyone ever said, why not teach at a HBCU?
I can imagine him. I can hear him.
Did he have an answer?
I can hear him. My Cornel West, in my brain, I can play him. Like, I can imagine. Like, cause when I did get a chance to hang out with him, me and him about 6 hours together, and it was just me and him. Nobody else. And it was the most fascinating conversation because he's such a smart man, and I enjoy talking to him, and he's down to earth. He's a wonderful person. And
so what would he say?
I could see him as Cornel West was, well, my brother, I have many, many wonderful friends and scholars at many HBCUs across the country. And I've spoken at many HBCUs. I have a wonderful relationship with the president at Grambling, Dr. Dr. J. Smith, and I just, the brothers and sisters at the HBCUs. I just so I frequently come and do speaking tours and lectures there. And I took the John Smith Wilson endowed chair at Grambling. And, like I could see him talking about a long history of having a relationship with HBCUs and a respect and admiration for HBCUs and many friends at HBCUs. You know,
So what about offering his brain to an
I'm
HBCU? What is that?
I would imagine that it might. I know he said that going to Boston to be at Harvard was a about him wanting to be in the Boston area. Now that does speak to the question of why Harvard, right? There's a lot of schools in Boston. Boston's got a ton of
Everywhere I turned when I went was like a university. Oh, another university.
yeah, yeah, and then also even with HBCUs, I'm sure they would accommodate. They'd probably they probably let him teach remotely. Like, you ain't even gotta be here. Just let us put your name down as one of our faculty, and we'll pay you good and all this other stuff. And when you're giving speeches and when these speaking fees, like when you go speak at these different places, like they pay good money. Like like he could easily command 20K per speech, 25K, sometimes 30K. I know that when he and I spoke at Brown University. Sorry, scratch that. Wait, who was sorry? Oh my God, that's so dumb. I actually was invited to speak at Brown. I'm not Cornel West, right? I was like the guy they called because Cornell chose not to come. And so Michael Eric Dyson was supposed to debate Cornel West at Brown University on hip hop. And they were fighting at the time because the Obama stuff was going on. So they called me to debate Dyson on hip hop because Cornel West couldn't make it, right? And I remember, and so here's the thing: I'm not a mainstream type of guy. White people don't like me very much. So they had me come in, and I remember we told them that the speaking fee was $10,000, and they were like, okay.
Too low. It's too low.
Right. There was right when they answer that fast, that it's not that you should have asked for more.
Yeah.
But like, we were happy to get 10K. Mike, I don't know what Michael Dyson was getting. He was probably getting 20, maybe. I don't know. I know he had a limo. I didn't. I had to take an Uber to the maybe
Wait,
not,
they did not have
maybe it wasn't an Uber. Maybe it was like a taxi or something.
You took a cab.
Yeah, I had to get my own ride. Dyson, he gave me a ride home in his limo because they gave him a limo. Yeah, the driver. Oh my God, it's so funny. Like so like
the debate must have gone well if he offered you a ride.
Yeah, like I can understand why some people. Sometimes I can understand why some of those people go in there and they sell out because white people treat you really well.
Oh, it's comfortable
when they like you. Yeah, when the white liberal establishment embraces you.
Yeah.
It makes life so much easier. Everything's posh and fancy. You got people. A lot of people don't know about this whole world, but you got people that will run around and just be doing these $25,000 speaking engagements, like 2-3 a week.
Yeah,
like
they racking
round.
up.
Yeah. And when you get and you can demand a lot of stuff. Like you can demand. I remember I went to speak at one university, Arkansas Little Rock. I'm always like. I'm like the academic side chick for white folks when it comes, because I got invited because I think it was either Dyson or Sharpton or somebody just decided at the last minute they didn't want to do it. Like and I remember the director picked me up. And now people who are really, really super black, like they know about me. So he was really excited to have me, right? Because he knew about me. But I'm not mainstream. So some, black people who are not extra woke are not even aware of the shit that I do. So I went to this campus and this director, he was driving me around. He was real excited, real respectful, but he was so pissed. I remember. I think it was Dyson. He was super mad at Dyson because Dyson, he's like, we planned this event for a year. We gave them everything they wanted. And then at the last minute, they said they didn't want to, whatever it was. And one of the things that was interesting was I remember him telling me that a lot of these speakers would come in and demand, like me, I would just be like, look, if you pay me $5,000-$8,000 just to talk for 30 minutes, I'll take it, right? Whereas some of them would come in and say, I want $25,000. I want a police escort. He specifically specifically mentioned Sharpton needing a police escort to the campus. First class tickets. I flew coach. I don't care. I will fly coach to go back at that time. Like now I don't like to go speak, honestly. I'd rather be home with my family and I do other stuff. But at that time, it was fascinating. So like slavery pays good. Like white supremacy pays pretty well. Like if you get in their good graces, I had a little taste of that,
Wow.
and it kind of was like, okay, now I get it, right? I don't want that world. I don't want to live that life because I know what comes with it, but I completely understand why you want to be in that space.
Oh yeah. I'm listening to the soundtrack of Roots. The
Mm-hmm.
Roots soundtrack by Quincy Jones. I'm listening to it in my car. I haven't even had you listen to most of it,
Mm.
but it's like there's a part in there with Fiddler. He's sitting there talking about, shoot, it feels good. Massa, if I cough, Massa bring me my tea, and that's what I'm looking for. And he like goes on. You should listen to it. It's really good about,
Really?
how good white supremacy is to him when he does right,
Wow.
Really, really
Yeah.
interesting. It's a great soundtrack to
Yeah.
listen to.
Yeah. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like making a conscious decision to walk away from certain things. And
Yeah.
that was one of the choices I remember making.
Well,
And
did you walk away or were you pushed away?
well, you know what? I was pushed away,
Uh-huh.
but then I chose to walk away.
Okay.
Like I
Okay.
had to get to the point where I did not see black people as a plan B.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people turn to black people when white people don't want them no more.
Rejected and
Yeah, yeah, and I
mm-hmm.
didn't want to do that. Like OJ Simpson or something. The people who don't want nothing to do with black folks until they got a problem.
And then now they understand they want to come. And it's funny because black people, we so forgiving.
Yeah, yeah. Like
We'll
people.
take you back.
Well, that's why people come back and lean on us. Like they know they can just pee on the black community over and over again, and black people will forgive. Like as long as you go to church and if you go into a church and you say, Jesus told me you know, Jesus fixed me or something, whatever. Like people are very quick. Like they forgave Joe Biden for all those black men he put in prison. They just,
We
you know,
can't see it. Well, it's the hatred of Trump that pushed people to Joe Biden.
in
People
fear.
hate Trump.
It was
Oh
hatred,
God, yes.
and fear. Like they knew how to trigger our hatred and
Oh,
our fear.
fear gets us going.
Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
when people get too afraid, it's like they just you
Mm-hmm.
know this. You're an expert on this stuff. But like the logic's out the window. It's like forget
Mm-hmm.
the
You
long
forget
term
everything.
vision. We're in
Mm-hmm.
survival mode. Just do what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Like people give away their freedom. They're not. They have no courage. So it was the election kind of showed a lot of that. And again,
Mm-hmm.
I submit to the idea that I think that we got to check our own white supremacy, because white supremacy only kind of works if we agree to it.
Yeah, because they have their rules, and we have to. And if you don't measure up, you're less than to
Yeah,
their rules.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I think that Cornel West not getting tenure at Harvard, it really just tells you what Harvard is.
Mm-hmm.
That they're a bunch of ignorant racists. Like that they have no capacity whatsoever to understand at least the higher ups anyway don't have
Mm-hmm.
any capacity to appreciate, value, or understand why black people love a guy like Cornel West so much.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't value that. It comes down to values, and also values linked to the fact that because I don't respect you, I'm not even going to take the time to try to even understand your point of view. Like
No,
I
they wouldn't even meet with him. They wouldn't talk to him.
Yeah, white
Wouldn't do
supremacy.
anything.
Like we are the ultimate authority. We've
Mm-hmm.
decided based on our authority, without even hearing
Mm-hmm.
your perspective,
Yeah,
that
I was just surprised that Cornel West was angry, and
yeah.
hurt. He was angry and hurt by the whole thing. That was surprising because a man of his age seemed like he should get it by now.
Well, I kind of felt bad for him, but you know what it was a reflection of? It's a reflection of his humility.
Okay.
He's not a guy that's like, well, I'm Dr. Cornel West and I am a special person.
Okay. He
Like
doesn't
he
do that.
doesn't carry himself that way at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I honor that. I respect that humility tremendously. Cornel West is one of the most wonderful people I've ever met in the scholar space. But I think now it's time for the rest of us to step up and say, okay, let's talk about what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Look, what does this really say? What does it say about them? But then
Mm-hmm.
what does it say about us? That we're even tolerating that we're even entertaining that we even think somehow that an affiliation with Harvard inherently has inherent value when clearly they're inferior if they can't even identify black talent.
Yeah, they are inferior. It's like trying to impress. It's like graduating from high school and trying to impress an eighth grader. It's like, why are you impressing an eighth grader? You need to be thinking about college.
Mm,
You know,
mm-hmm.
why are you going back? They're not
Yeah.
worthy of it.
Yeah. A lot of times
Yeah.
we do that. We try to impress the wrong people, and then we
Like,
end up losing
you
ourselves.
never shouldn't be
Yeah.
impressing.
Why are you trying to
Like,
impress an idiot
you
or an
passed all
asshole?
of that.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
So that's it. There's no reason to try to impress Harvard. I mean, Harvard clearly has some growing to do. It doesn't mean they don't have some brilliant scholars there, or maybe I'm sure they got plenty of good people there. But as an institution, this is
Oh,
really
they have a record of really treating black people terrible, especially faculty. Black smart people, they're not treating them well.
well. I've told
We
you.
talked about that already.
Well, you have your friends from Gary that were the professors there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They were a married couple,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And they got on them because they joined the Harvey Weinstein legal team,
Mm-hmm.
and they ran him out of town
Mm-hmm.
like some
Well,
Klansmen.
they ran him out, and then the wife, I guess, got pushed out too because she was
Damn,
married to
that's
him.
real. Oh, and then there's Roland Fryer, the
Yeah.
economist,
Oh
and he
yeah.
got caught up in that Me Too stuff.
They didn't even
They took
give
that
him a
brother.
fair shot
They
at
took that
all.
brother down like O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, because Me Too is used as Me Too, incorporating the Me Too into academia, which I think should be done, but it was just used as a weapon to beat up black people, especially
It's a,
black men.
yeah.
The Me Too
Well,
was used.
women
It's a
on their
weapon.
people don't check white women on their racism.
This
They,
black man scared me.
yeah, they don't check white women on that, and
Yeah.
I started noticing that when I was really young. Just like because I thought I was falsely led to believe at my white university that
Mm-hmm.
there's like some weird alliance between black people and white women. Like, oh, I'm a woman, I'm oppressed, and you're black, and you're oppressed. We're all oppressed together. But I'm like, well, shit, you oppressing me right now with your behavior. Like your behavior is oppressive.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Katrina says, do you think the black faculty at Harvard should leave as well? What do you think?
How many black faculty are even there?
Um, you know what?
We should probably look it up.
Have quite a few there, but they probably do what a lot of institutions do, which is they'll bring black people in, but they make sure the black people don't have any power.
Okay.
Like we'll bring in a whole bunch of black people in the lower rungs of the administration to do what black people
Oh.
historically have done, which is to do all the work and carry the load.
Mm.
Like a lot of black adjuncts, professors of practice, tenure track faculty who don't
Tenure
get
track
tenure.
faculty can't say anything. You really cannot say anything.
Oh yeah, when you're
You
tenure.
can't challenge a lot of stuff as a tenure.
Yeah, I did, and I didn't get tenure.
Yeah, that's what happens.
And you got tenure. You became a full, so I think that's pretty cool.
Well, you know what? I had protection. I'll just put it that
Well,
way.
yeah, you had a great mentor. And,
Yeah. I had protection. I had
yeah.
protection, and I think like if I didn't have that protection, I wouldn't have gotten tenure. You
Well,
know?
yeah. Well, that protection matters. I know I didn't have it, but you know what?
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't get it.
Okay.
My life was 100 times better when I left. Because I figured out what tenure is. All tenure is financial security.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, so I can either get tenure, I can get financial security.
So you gave yourself tenure.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I give you tenure.
I'm like,
You have tenure in my book, please.
oh, thank you. I got tenure, baby.
Yeah, you've been promoted. I'm gonna promote you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
See,
I submitted
that's my
my curriculum
self-esteem.
beta, and she approved.
My self-esteem is tied to what you think of me.
Oh,
There we go.
vice versa. Well, yeah. Well, I tell you what, I remember back in the day listening to rappers like E40, and E40 would talk about, like how he basically had his own little record label. And he was like, I always sign myself. Like, I'll never not sign myself. And I like that because, if you think about it, E40 is still relevant 30 years later because even in his bad years, no one like just dropped him from the label.
He's pretty consistent. He consistently comes out with music too. He's got stuff to say too.
Yeah. I think people are getting that. Like, I think that now that like that's the movement. Like millions of black people are kind of like, let me get with some black people and start our own thing. And I think that mindset, decision to develop institutions, is really important, right? Because then you're just like, you're not mad. Like when I had my own institution, I wasn't mad at Syracuse anymore.
Yeah.
When you get your own, it's like relationships. Like if you get a good, if you're still mad at your ex 3 years later, that's probably because you haven't found happiness in your new life. You haven't been able to move on.
Yeah, you have not been able to move on.
Yeah, because when you really move on and you find something better,
You don't even think, you be like, what? I dated that person. I forgot all about
Yeah,
that.
or you see your ex and you're like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you're happy now. I wish you the best."
And then that's it. Bye.
Yeah, you don't care. Like you could go to
Yeah.
their wedding and sit in the crowd if you wanted to, and not even feel anything at all. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that was another time in my life, you know. And so, but yeah, let me see if somebody.
Somebody have a good
Oh,
comment.
this is good. This is a good comment. So I'm put it on the screen. He said,
Okay, what it say?
"Hell, why does Boyce tell us every 5 minutes he's a PhD in finance, but does not teach at a HBCU?"
You
Well,
do teach at a HBCU,
I
right?
run a HBCU.
That's
The
right.
Black Business School, my man, has 135,000 people around the world that are signed up with the Black Business School, and they pay probably about 1/100th of what they pay to go to college, and they get a much better education. We just had Black Experts Weekend, and we had 30 Black experts that came in from all different backgrounds.
Oh,
And you can't tell me
unbelievable.
you can't build a university off of that. I'm talking
Oh,
about people. Al Duncan, just one. This is just one person. Al Duncan literally came in and gave a presentation on how he made over $2 million on speaking engagements.
oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
we had, I mean, just so many great people that came in that were breaking down the game, like at a level
Yeah.
that college professors, like a lot of college professors in business schools can't do it because they don't know how to make money. These are Black people who know how to make money.
I gotta go through and watch it
Oh
because I
yeah,
need to learn
it
from.
was really good.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, what's some more comments?
Okay. And by the way, some of you are asking about the URL for the Black Business School. Here's the Black Business School URL. Feel free to take a look. We actually have specialists that are typically on the line that you can talk to. So feel free to go to blackbusinessschool.com. That's the URL.
I can't. It's too far. Okay, any interesting comments?
Um, Gary in the building. Nick Black says, I guess he's from Gary.
Gary, Indiana.
Yeah,
That's what's up.
yeah, Gary.
Hey, Nick. I can't. It's too close to my face. I can't see. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. You know when you get a certain age.
Saw the live, so I am here.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I might be live at any particular time just because I think it's fun. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know. I go live every morning. I play video games. Just to
Oh,
show
your
you
Twitch.
how immature I am. There's my Twitch channel. So follow my Twitch channel. We talk about stocks and video games. So while I'm playing Call of Duty, I'll stop every few minutes and I'll answer questions about the stock market and what's going on with stocks. And I started doing that because I wanted to spend more time with my son and my daughter, but also I I feel like young people need good advice on investing because some of the advice that they're getting is just not healthy advice. They're being trained to become compulsive gamblers, and I'd rather have them at least get a little bit of balance. So there's my Twitch channel. So feel free to follow on Twitch.
You're getting better, boys.
I am. I'm quite proficient at killing zombies now.
I just have a hard time watching you play. It gets my heart rate going. Like I
Mine
can't.
too.
It just gets me all revved up. I just have to leave the room.
Yeah, it is. It's fun though.
It is a
And
lot of fun.
and then poker. I started playing poker again. That was
Poker is exciting. Poker I can get into. I don't like the video
yeah. I
games so
did good in
much.
that tournament the other day. Check this out, y'all. There were 1,100 people in the poker tournament. I played an online poker tournament the other day. 1,100 people played. Right. Are y'all listening? And your boy got sixth place. I got sixth place out of 1,100 people. I think in poker I'm a badass.
I know I want to get you into a real game though, with
Mm,
money.
what, a real poker game?
A real
Oh,
poker game, like
I don't
real
want to. I
life.
don't like to gamble though. I don't like to. I like the
Is that
strat.
gambling?
I like poker as a game of skill. I'm not a big fan of like big gambling, but I would like to take a trip somewhere and play in a big tournament and just
Yeah.
try it out.
That's what's up. We gotta do that.
I might do it. I might do it. So anyway,
Okay.
we're gonna let y'all go. We're just sitting here casually talking at this point. We done moved on past Cornell West and Harvard. But did you have any final like concluding thoughts on that, babe?
Yeah, it would have been. I would have gotten real excited if he had gone to an HBCU. Honestly, I would have been like super happy for him. Um, but I wish him the best. I wish him the respect and the honor that he so deserves for the rest of his life. I hope he never has a bad day. I
Yeah,
hope
and
all of his days are filled with wonder and glory.
we know Cornell's 67,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he's
He's an elder
yes he is,
and
yes
he
he
gets
is.
lots of love and lots of respect. And I hope that he knows that He deserves that.
Yeah, I love him
Hmm.
to death, and I think and he's just such a good person. And his mother, one time his mama, I'll tell you, his mama came to one of my speeches and like really like went out of her way to come up and talk to me, and I thought it was so great. And his mama,
Oh,
and when that's what he said when he called me, he said, "Brother Boyce." He said, he said, "Brother Boyce." He said, "My mother told me that I
yeah.
needed to call you, and when my mother tells me to do something, I'm gonna do it." It's
Oh, look at that.
yeah, yeah. His mama's was a sweet. I mean, such a sweet lady. I don't know if she's still alive or not,
She couldn't still be with us.
but you could tell. But she was so sweet that like you could tell why he's a good man,
Yeah.
why he's conscientious. He believes in what he stands for. Very principled, and I admire that. So even with the critiques of the Harvard situation, and how I
Mm-hmm.
think the next generation needs to kind of evolve past the whole looking for love in all the wrong places mindset. Um, I get it, and he obviously deserved it, and I wish him the very best. Am I a member of Omega Psi Phi? No, I'm not. I almost became a Q.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was one
Oh,
day for I was one day away from going on mine, and I my roommate was a Q, and out that poor guy, I think he might be still an alcoholic to this day.
oh my God. Well, my brother went to Howard, and
Yeah,
that's where my great great grandfather was on the first Q line at Howard.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I am fraternity. I'm royalty.
You're like Q royalty.
Q royalty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome. Yeah. I respect the Omega men. I think that though
Hmm.
being a Q, like I went to school with Q dogs, and
I hate
and
that
and I,
dog
I
thing.
didn't
It's not.
I don't like
I don't like
I'm
that.
not a personally a big fan of self destructive black male culture.
All that barking. Would you have done all that barking? That's so obnoxious.
The barking is what I guess that's just what they do, right? I don't judge that part. For me,
Because
it's well now the part about like when I would see the guys on stage humping each other, I thought that was a little weird.
that's what dogs do.
Well, just I'm not gonna hump a dude.
Ugh.
I'm just not going. You're not gonna see me humping a dude. But not to say every Q does it. I'm sure there are even Qs that are like, maybe we should reconsider our humping policy.
No
You know,
humping on the stage.
right, right. No,
Yeah.
but I think it was like on my campus at that time, the Qs that I knew were just doing things in their lives that I felt were going to lead to bad outcomes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I seen what alcohol does to a lot of black men. Even in my own family, um, you know, messed around with random women. What then they weren't really into. Like I
Mm-hmm.
really had goals. I was like, I want to go and accomplish something with my life. So I studied really hard. I was very ambitious at 18, 19 years old. So I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of friends because most people could not match my ambition. But the closest might have been my roommate, but even he got distracted. He got the freshman year, he decided to pledge. And I was like, why would you pledge? Like, why don't do that? Like, wait until you're a
Mm-hmm.
sophomore. Like, because I had the highest grade point average of all the black students on campus.
So
And
that's why fraternities wanted you because your GPA for sure.
probably, yeah, they all asked me to join. And
Yeah.
I literally thought about
Mm-hmm.
every single one of them. Like, you just weigh your options. And
Mm-hmm.
each time I just kind of was like, wait, I didn't understand it. I was like, wait, I gotta give you money and you're gonna get on my fucking nerves and make me do a bunch of shit I don't
You
want to do.
you don't have it in you
I've
at
always
all.
had an independent spirit. I think that's
Yeah.
what it is. It's like no, I'm not. You're not gonna tell me what to do. You're not gonna interrupt my sleep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna mess up my grade point average. Like no, I'm not. I don't
Yeah.
need you. Why am I? I'm doing all this so I can be your friend, but you're already my friend, and I ain't gotta pay. I ain't gotta do nothing for you.
Yeah, but to pay for friends. I think the thing, like, you have to be group oriented. Like, I don't
Mm.
see you being part of a group and doing group rules and
You,
adhering to group
Well, you know
stuff.
what?
I don't see you doing
The
that.
thing is, I have a group. Like I have a fraternity. Like you might call it the B1 fraternity. When
Ah,
everybody comes in and all the brothers and the sisters are putting up hashtag B1, it's like that's my frat. My frat is Black
okay.
Excellence. My fraternity is intelligent black people.
And you don't have to do anything to get in. You're
I
just
don't have to
in.
do nothing to get in. In fact,
You're just all in.
I'm one of the leaders of the organization, and I love it. And like that's what I see as my frat. So like when I and I see my guys, and I love to do stuff with them. And like even when I'm playing my video games, like the guys will come in and they'll be like, "Hey, Doc, I'm gonna send you a friend request on Xbox." I like that. To me, that's like the brotherhood I can identify with because I'm like into winning.
The
You
winning
know,
fraternity.
yeah. I like to get with, I like to hang out with black men, particularly the black men I hang out with. But I mean, obviously, black women are great as well. But when I'm thinking like fraternity mode, like brothers, I'd
Mm-hmm.
like to get with brothers that are smart, ambitious, hardworking, courageous, that are defenders and supporters of the community. They want to be stronger and better. They want to be positive, productive. Doesn't mean you have to eat vegetables and say your prayers every day. It's more, or have a PhD. No, it's not like that. It's just more like we're men. Like I when I see men, I see sturdiness. Like manhood is like having a type of sturdiness where people can depend on you. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like being reliable, and I like being strong, and I like being a winner.
Mm-hmm.
And when I would see guys just slumped over with a liquor bottle in their hand, complaining about babies' mamas and child support, broke as hell, lazy as fuck. Like I didn't want to be like that. I was like, that's loser status in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what hip hop and stuff started teaching us as black men is how to be a loser. I don't want to be a loser. When I compete against this white man,
Well, hip hop teaches you how to stay a child,
yeah, it
how to stay a
does.
little boy,
Yeah,
and not grow up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when I
Yeah.
would, like in my mind, when I see white supremacy, I do see it as a competition, and I'm not gonna lose. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. I don't even identify. Like when people would talk about, "Oh, you're a black male, you're such a victim." I'm like, "Fuck you, I'm not a victim. You better
Mm-hmm.
watch out for me. You fuck with me, I might make you a victim." Like,
Oh, come on. Now you just crossed the line. Like I
no, no,
was
no.
with you until you were
Mm-mm.
like,
No,
I
no, no.
was with you
I'm
up
not
until
saying
the
no, no,
victim
no,
thing.
no, 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 no.
Okay.
I'm talking about if you mess with the people I love,
Okay.
then you will feel the wrath of boys for sure. Like that's how I see it. Like if you're harming my community, then yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I will. I know how to fight back. There's nothing wrong with that.
You in this fighting mode.
Yeah, you have to.
You get
You
into
can't.
this fighting
You can't
mode.
just get into defensive survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to know how to take the offense. And that's where. But that's my poker training. That's my poker thinking coming into play.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the rules in poker. Like I'm a really good poker player. And one thing about poker is you never want to get caught always playing defense. You need to learn how to play offense. When somebody comes up and they try to intimidate you, you trump that shit. You come back and say, no, actually, I'm the dominant one here,
So
and
you're focused on who's intimidating
you
you.
must yes. And when it comes to dealing with that white man, you cannot be a punk. You must step forward and be as strong as you can be, as firm as you can be. And you know what's going to happen? Is they're going to respect you more anyway. Like people, Dr. Claude Anderson talks about that. He says that a lot of times white people don't just dislike you because you're black. They dislike you because you are a bitch. They dislike you because your men are weak. You give up.
Well, that's the Willie Lynch. I mean, the
Yeah,
Willie Lynch program is there,
yeah,
and it's designed to make men, in a weaker position,
yeah,
and thereby making the black community in the weaker position.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
the thing. Nobody respects a community that's
Who that
built.
disrespects their women, like
Hmm.
disrespecting your women. I mean, other races got to look at us and be like, look how stupid that is.
Yeah, we have a lot of. Well, that's the thing though.
It's
Like,
just like,
we're trained on a lot of stupid backward behavior.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
even if you look at the music and the fact that we call each other the N word like all the time in the music, and then
Mm-hmm.
suddenly we expect the world to get outraged with us when a white person gets caught using the N word. But a lot of times they're using the N word because they're
It's all
seeing,
in our music,
and
and
we're using it all the time on ourselves. So they're just so sometimes they don't know. Like someone never told them, like, no, black people can say that only, but about themselves, they can call themselves the N word, but you can't say it.
it's that contradiction. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they get
like,
confused. Like a lot, like Kyle Larson, that race car driver, he got busted using the N word. I think he was like 27, 28 years old, right?
it's like, what are you talking about?
Right. I can see him being
Yeah.
confused. Like, wait, like but it's in all the songs. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm just saying
I
that
mean,
we have to look at ourselves.
radio stations don't even block that word out anymore.
No, they don't.
I happened to listen to the radio one day. I was like, good grief, they're allowing this on the radio.
And nobody thinks that's weird.
No
That's the
one
crazy
thinks it's
part.
strange.
Like nobody's getting outraged about it, but y'all expecting me to get outraged over some bullshit, over some whatever CNN puts on TV.
That's sick. It's
But
sick.
it's a mental illness. It's
Yeah.
like literally, again, we're white supremacists.
We got a long way to go,
We
boys.
take our cues from white people. Like if they suddenly got outraged about it, then we would be outraged about it. We'd be like, oh, we can get mad about it now. Okay, all right, boss, I'm mad too. But if we don't see other people doing it first, we won't do it.
Sanctioned. It has to be sanctioned first
Yeah,
to allow us to get mad at stuff.
I think it's terrible. Yeah, so I kind of fight back against that. Like sometimes, like I think I said it on my Twitter, which by the way, my Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I mentioned on Twitter, I said, I think my platform was designed for Black people who sometimes wonder if they were born on the wrong planet.
So I bet people are experiencing things and then they find you and they're just like, oh my goodness, thank you.
Yeah.
Good
Like
grief, I thought I was alone.
Yeah, like if you fit in too much with all of this nonsense, then you're not gonna usually fit in with my platform space.
Well, I think you need to be patient with people because I think people have high hopes and they really feel like if they give it their all, they're gonna get the acceptance. And then as soon as they hit racism, that's when they find you. Like
That's
you're just
true.
like the cup that pours it all.
The plan B.
The pours it all in there. So I think like even though people may not be where you are right now, they just be patient. They will be. They'll see the light.
Well, I don't judge.
Yeah.
I don't judge.
I don't either. I just say it's a developmental thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, we're about to go to sleep. So it was great talking to you all, and there's my Instagram on there if you want to follow my Instagram. Almost dropped it. And it's the real Boyce Watkins, and also I will be playing my video games today. So if you want to come and watch me kill zombies and talk about the stock market, feel free to follow my Twitch channel, and you'll get notifications when I go live and stuff like that. So I'm out of here. Have a good day, a good night, and we'll see you soon. Be good. Peace.